our guest today fell in love with animals at a young age when he witnessed his first snake at the local zoo. Now he has his own zoo. Welcome to Celebrate Michigan, the show produced on the campus of Madonna University. I'm Chris Benson, and today we have Brian Barczyk, YouTube personality, owner of BHB Reptiles, and the latest, the Reptarium. So you're going to find out what that is from Brian right now. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me on. It's awesome.
And I know I missed probably 5 or 6, maybe 10 things in there.
I have a lot of layers.
You do. Any Google search of Brian Barczyk, and you're going to come up with a lot of hits, let's say.
Yeah, there's a little bit out there. Yeah, I like to be in a lot of places. I like to do a lot of things. But the majority of what I do is animal related. Mm-hmm. Every now and then I do some weird stuff that even throws my closest followers off. Like, what did he just do? But usually it's animal related.
And this Reptarium, I am so fascinated with this, and people might know you from a lot of different places. They might know you from snake bites. They might know you from, like we mentioned, the reptile world, YouTube. I think last time I checked, it was like over 1.8 million followers.
Yeah, almost 1.9 now. Yeah, Gosh. It's getting close. Yeah, that 2 mil's getting there.
Yeah, we're working on it, right?
We're working on it. Yep.
But this Reptarium, tell me where is it, what is it, and how can we find out about it?
Well, it's in Utica, Michigan.
Okay.
And you know, I think that as an animal lover, you always dream of being involved in a zoo, right? I mean, that's like the pinnacle. Like, I want a zoo, and through my life, I've done so many different things. And I always wanted to do the zoo, right? And the idea was, I want to make something that I wanted to go to when I was a kid,
sure.
right? And so it was kind of there were some interesting, things I had to get over, obstacles I had to get over. So I go to zoos all over the world, and I love them. And I get a lot more access than the normal person because I always know people and I get to do crazy things. But still, the majority of the times, you're looking at that animal through glass. Mm-hmm. And I said, I want to make a zoo that not only is like Reptile Zoo meets Rainforest Cafe, so you're in the exhibit, but I wanted to bring the animals from behind the glass. So when you come into the Reptarium, you literally get to hold everything. You know,
wow.
You walk in and you're like, can I see that? Yes, you can. And we take it out. And whether it's an alligator or a big snake or a lizard or a turtle, you're going to get a chance to see amazing things, and not just see them, but hold them and feel what they're like.
Right in Utica, Michigan. So
right
not even far from here.
Nope.
Why that location? What made you choose that part of Michigan?
Well, I grew up in this area,
okay.
And I thought about, should I go out to California or Florida, but this is where I am. I'm a Michigan person, Detroiter, and I thought, let's do it here. And to be totally honest with you, my idea is to maybe do these all over the country.
Wow.
So this was the first one. It's been open for about 4 months, wildly more successful than I could have ever imagined. So many people, I mean, hundreds and hundreds of people pour in there every time we're open, and it's been amazing. So we're thinking about Grand Rapids next year.
It's a cool city, I hear.
It's a great city. I love Grand Rapids, and I thought maybe I'll do that. And then if that works out, then I'm targeting like LA, Orlando, Chicago, some other bigger cities. Maybe over the next 4 or 5 years, we'll open up maybe 6 or 7 of these. And the idea behind them is not just the fact that I want to have a zoo because I love playing with animals. That's the real excuse. But the fact is that I want people to get educated about these animals. People love what they can feel and touch and learn about, right? And reptiles are oftentimes portrayed in a way that people are afraid of them. And every day we're open, we get 5, 6, 10, 12, whatever it is, people that come in that are terrified. And they come in because they're terrified and they want to know what this is about. And every single time they leave holding a snake and loving it. And I can't tell you how many times that people have come in and said, I won't even touch a snake. And they leave and say they're going to go buy a pet snake.
They're like this when they come in. And then
they do this. And then they held the back end. Next thing you know, they got it around their neck. And next thing you know, they're begging, can I see this one, this one? It's almost like they're the worst, right? Because they want to see everything now. And but I can't tell you how many of those people have literally left and said, or came back and said, I bought a pet reptile.
Awesome.
And that's what it's about for me.
And how many reptiles approximately do you have in the zoo?
Well, so in the zoo we probably have about 250 reptiles. Okay. In my care, all in all, I have about 10,000 reptiles.
10,000.
But the 250 reptiles at the zoo are much more unique animals.
Okay.
They're ambassadors. These are super friendly animals, lots of variety, and it's pretty amazing the amount of things. We have 2-headed snakes. We have albino alligators. We have have several of the only ones in the world, right? Like albino Nile monitors, night Nile monitors, things that you can't see anywhere else. We have the only albino and jet black alligator on exhibit in the world.
Wow.
So there's albino alligators, but not black alligators. So we have the two together. So it's pretty cool.
We were talking about, because we're going to have in our third segment some of our friends from the zoo here, and you were talking about feeding them, and just, I can't imagine what that operation is like for 250 animals, much less 10,000, but let's start with the zoo. So is it you? Do you have a whole team of zookeepers? How do we do this?
Fortunately, we have a staff, and a lot of the staff have been working with me at my other business for many years. So they were excited about the opportunity to kind of move over from a more breeding facility to a more, naturalistic, type of, and believe it or not, honest to God, it's much easier to take care of 250 animals at the reptile zoo than 10,000 animals in a breeding center. So we have great systems. We've developed those systems over the last 28 years, and we kind of implemented those into the zoo. And it's been it's actually been easier than I expected caring for the animals. But I do have a great staff of 5 people that work the zoo.
I imagine students who are going to be watching this, like high school students, are going to say, "That is the summer job that I want is at the zoo." What kind of training goes into the folks that are working at the zoo? Is this something where, I'm like, gosh, I had to scour the planet to find people to care for these reptiles, because you've got some pretty exotic animals there too?
Yeah, I think that, again, we've pilfered our other company that already has really experienced animal keepers that we trained ourselves to come up, and so it starts with the interest, right? I'm interested in reptiles, I want to work with reptiles, and then you come in and you learn how to work with reptiles on the beginning standpoint, and then slowly build to where you become advanced. But that being said, we have really incredible standard operating procedures. Every cage, every animal, there's checklists, there's everyone has to sign off on everything. Did you water it? Did you feed it? Did you clean it? Did you do this? And I think if you take all the guessing game out of it, it's not like you just turn someone loose, go take care of stuff.
Absolutely.
It's like, this is what every animal needs, and if you really make it simple, it's good. And for someone that's aspiring to do this as a summer job, the best thing to do is volunteer somewhere. Get your kind of kicks with the volunteer thing, and eventually, if you're really good, then you get hired. It's pretty awesome.
Well, clearly you're really good at what you do. I'm going to try to be good at what I do and get us to a break, but please come back in just a few minutes. We're going to hear more from Brian Barczyk and eventually see some awesome animals too. Stay tuned.
You realize that 49 million Americans struggle with hunger? That's 1 out of every 6 Americans. These people are around us every day. They're our friends, they're our coworkers, their kids go to school with our kids. Sometimes we're not even aware that they're struggling. This problem is closer than you think. But so is the solution.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
What to expect when you're expecting.
Like here?
A teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to teen-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey.
I'm ready for the... Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Marie, you have prediabetes.
Prediabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just... Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?
Maria, so how's work?
It was 4th period biology. Our students just weren't getting how easily viruses spread. So Miss Bella and I had them role play a zombie virus outbreak. By the time they had all learned the lesson, all the living were dead. Hey, how's your job going?
That big sales meeting I planned? Next year, I might get to go.
Cool.
Celebrate Michigan. I'm Chris Benson, and we're here with Brian Barczyk, who's talking about his business. We're talking about reptiles. We're talking about the Reptarium. I'm so excited I can't even contain myself. And YouTube and all the different places that you are. And I think what I'm really curious about, you've been involved with reptiles now
29 years.
Okay, so long time. And you talked about your passion. It clearly is coming through. You know, you're like, who gets to have a zoo? I mean, come on, how many people get to do that? So, but what I think I really heard you say is that you're really interested in educating the next generation. You know, you love having kids and students and those kind of folks who are like, wow, I've never seen this animal before in real life, and I actually am bringing it out in front to touch it. How have you seen either interest in reptiles or, you know, just coverage of reptiles change in the time that you've been involved with it as an expert?
It's so wild that...
no pun intended, right?
Yeah, when I was a kid just getting started with this, you know, there was maybe 1 or 2 pet shops in all of Michigan that carried reptiles, and now every pet shop carries a reptile. So it's been pretty wild to see, like, you're almost like that, like, embarrassed to tell people that you love reptiles. And now especially the newer generations, I mean, they are so excited. They love reptiles, you know, and they I guess, you know, like my parents were afraid of reptiles, you know, and they taught you like, oh, they're dangerous, don't touch them. Now I don't think that the kids feel that way so much. So it's been pretty amazing to see that transition from them being kind of almost like closet animal that you hardly talk about to being one of the most mainstream animals. As a matter of fact, just recently, for the very first time in history in America, reptiles took over the position in front of small animals.
Really?
So all the small animals, you know, hamsters, birds, all that stuff, reptiles are actually more popular than all all of those animals.
I guess I never thought about that. Really, when I was a kid, it was like a gerbil or, you know, a hamster or something like that. Now I do see a lot more skinks. Is that,
yeah,
you know,
skinks, leopard geckos, bearded dragons, ball pythons, you name it. And I think the reason for that is not only is our you know, kids think they're cooler and they're not as, you know, whatever, but also, you know, we live a fast lifestyle now, you know, and when you have a dog or a cat, maybe not so much cat, but dog in particular, it does tie you down, you know, and if you're traveling, you're doing this, you can't do much. With a reptile, you can literally throw some water in there, feed it, and let it go for a week. No big deal, right? And so it fits our kind of much for fast-paced life. Plus, not to mention, they're just really cool.
Are they more resilient than some of the smaller furry animals?
I think so, and I think that that's the other thing that's changed the reptile game, if you so, is that the captive breeding has made hardy, great animals. When I was coming up, when I was 16, 17 years old, they were all wild caught, and there was a high mortality rate, very high mortality rate. Now that the captive breeding has gone on, they're such bulletproof animals. I mean, they're so hardy and so amazing. As long as you have a great setup, they do fantastic. And again, they don't need to be walked every day. They don't need the attention and the affection that you might have to give a mammal. Not to say they don't want it, it's just you don't have to. You come home and you don't want to, you know, spend time with your bearded dragon, you don't have to spend time with your bearded dragon. You have a dog, which I love dogs, by the way, but you have a dog, they're going to want attention every single day. You know, so it's...
I can hear, our viewers cannot hear it, but I can hear a certain tortoise that wants some attention. So I know during the third segment you're going to get to see that, but off on the side here, there's definitely some tortoise action happening.
Well, these guys get spoiled, I'll be honest with you. The animals I brought now are used to being handled a lot. They're used to the attention, probably more so than most pets, to be totally honest with you.
Well, you've been on the show before, and we just so appreciate, and I love hearing about where you're going and what's happening and the new ventures that you're working on. You mentioned about the Reptarium and maybe taking that, you know, farther, you know, than just Utica, although we're glad you're in Utica. What else do you foresee? What other things are you excited about?
Well, you know, I call myself a creative tornado. Because
I think that's appropriate.
Yeah, because I have my hands in so many different things, and I always say that, you know, I'm such an entrepreneur and I'm so excited about life, every single opportunity, and the reason I call myself a tornado is because I come in and I just destroy everything. My mind comes in and I have a great group of people, not just that work with animals, but on the business side, and I don't know how they put up with me, because I every day I come in and I have so many ideas and so many things, and I always say that I know A and I know Z, but the alphabet's really fuzzy.
Sure.
So I have to get people around me that understand the alphabet really well. And so I come in and you know, I can't even tell you some of the things that I've got going on. You know, I do have a reptile product line that I have. I have some non-products. I have a product that's about to drop here in about 2 weeks that I'm super excited about that have nothing to do with animals whatsoever. I actually have a toaster in the works that's going to be coming out in 2019.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's a different toaster. We have it patent pending, so I can tell you about it. It'll be a toaster with an app on your phone, and that app will actually Bluetooth link with your toaster, and you can print anything that's on your phone on your toast. And
You're kidding me.
so I mean, I have a lot of layers.
I don't remember seeing that on Shark Tank, but I would totally be excited about that if I did.
The point is that I think life is about opportunity, and I always tell people that a vision without motion is just a dream, and I'm not a dreamer. I want to make things come to reality. So yeah, I mean, I wake up every morning exciting to see what's going to come, and if I get an idea in my head, I say, let's go for it. And you know what? I think that the biggest thing that I always want to tell people is that be willing to fail. It's okay to fail. You know, failure is not a bad thing, but you always want to fail forward. And so I swing for the fences on everything I do. I love animals, and the majority of my life is about animals, but I'm going to go after everything that I love because I'm passionate about it, and if it works out, great. If it doesn't, I've had a great time in the meantime.
Well, and I think that's a great message, too, that you're sharing, this idea of failure. So few people talk about the failures, you know, and I think a lot of times young people are watching, you know, all their different visuals they're seeing, and they're like, gosh, you know, this person is successful now, and they don't know all the steps that lead up to that. We have just a couple seconds before the break. What would you say to anyone who's watching now and they're like, yeah, that guy can succeed, but not me?
I can tell you every successful person has failed more than they've succeeded, period. And you cannot give up, period. You know,
that's what you learn.
That's what it is. Be willing to accept the failure and move on and learn from it, and know that to succeed, you're going to have a lot of road bumps. You know, there's that old graph that says, you know, this is what success people think, and this is what it really
looks like.
And don't give up.
Well, you heard it right here from Brian Barczyk. We have to take a short break. When you come back, it's going to look totally different. I'm going to have all kinds of things here, so come on back in just a few.
In 1977, an 8-year-old boy picked up the game of golf from his father. The odds of that same boy then making it to the US and European pro golf tours, 1 in 7 million. The odds of the Big Easy winning the US Open twice, 1 in 1.2 billion. The odds of him having a child diagnosed with autism, 1 in 110. Ernie Els encourages you to learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Can I have $1? Yeah, it's right. I think my purse is upstairs on the bed. It's not here. Check the dining room. No. What about your sister's room? It's not there either. The upstairs closet? The downstairs closet?
There are no more closets.
Moms everywhere are finding ways to keep kids active and healthy. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov.
Fast-paced family life in need of a slowdown?
Hello, I'm Dr. Spruce. Did you know all those green shapes on maps are parks and forests? It's true. Visit discovertheforest.org and plan to visit a park or forest near you, instead of just wondering what it would have been like.
While the word forest might make you think of distant lands from far, far away, please note parks and forests are closer than you think, which means things like beautiful scenery, fresh air, and family time are also closer than you think.
Well, welcome back to Celebrate Michigan. We're here with Brian Barczyk, and we're talking about the Reptarium and all other things Brian Barczyk. And you may notice we have a guest here with us, and I just said, oh, is it a he or a she? And you said...
Yeah, it's too early to tell. These actually, about a year old, you can sex them.
Okay.
This is only about 8 weeks old right now, so he's just a little dude.
So cute.
Now, they do, interestingly enough, you can actually incubate the eggs. It's something that's called temperature sex determination.
Okay.
So you could incubate the eggs to male or female. This particular one, I'm not sure.
Okay.
So you may have heard of Gatorland down in Florida.
Yes.
Okay, so we just have a deal with Gatorland where they send us baby alligators. So we have 10 alligators, babies, just like this one. And when they get a little bit bigger, we send them back and they send us 10 more. So so that way kids can come in and feed the little alligators, get the pictures taken with an alligator, stuff like that. And I think they're just absolutely adorable at this size. And again, it's an American alligator.
This is a very cute alligator.
It's
I mean,
super cute.
So look at the eyes.
I know, it's so
adorable.
cute.
And little tiny feet.
Now this guy will get 10, 12 foot and several hundred pounds eventually.
Less cute to me,
but he'll live his life in Gatorland, not at the Reptarium. He's just going to live probably next year at the Reptarium, and then we'll get a new batch. And I'm going to shed a tear or two when they go back because I'll definitely get attached to them because they're so adorable. But again, we just want to give kids that opportunity to see things that are amazing.
Yeah, very cool. Okay, so I know we've got a little alligator here, and now we have.
Yep, I'll just plop that right there. You can put him back.
Thank you, animal handler.
This is actually a bearded dragon.
Oh my
and
gosh.
Have you heard of the rapper Fetty Wap by any chance? Okay, well, you know that Fetty Wap has a messed up eye. So Fetty Wap here, the bearded dragon, is a tribute. What happened when Fetty was a baby, a breeder contacted me and said another bearded dragon had scraped his eye and injured his eye. He said, would you like to take Fetty? And I said, well, he didn't call him Fetty.
Yeah.
He just said this bearded dragon. And I said, of course, let's give this bearded dragon a great life. Just because he has a bad eye doesn't mean that he shouldn't be loved and cared for. So we got him, and my son named him Fetty Wap, and now Fetty Wap lives his days at the Reptarium, making kids' life happy and stuff.
Oh my God, and he is looking at me. Now I have to tell you, on this side, all I saw was this little closed eye, and I was like, so he's sleeping, but he's looking around, but actually, he's checking me out now. He's like, let me look at you with my good eye.
He's keeping an eye on you. But Fetty is amazing. He's a super cool animal. Again, a bearded dragon from Australia.
Oh, wow.
It's omnivore, so it's going to eat vegetation and crickets and bugs and all that other stuff. But Fetty is absolutely cool.
And anyone can come see him at the Reptarium?
Yeah, and hold him and take pictures with them and do whatever you want with them for sure. We'll move on to what my forte really is.
Oh, there we go.
Which is
this sculpture.
Exactly. You wonder, this is actually called a ball python. And I often ask kids when I see kids and I say, this is a ball python. Do you have any idea why they're called ball pythons?
Maybe they're in a ball? Okay,
exactly, in a ball. Exactly. This is actually what they would call an ivory ball python. So you don't find these in the wild. This is what we call a paint job, where you want this beautiful, striking animal that comes out. And again, they'll curl up in a ball to save themselves from predators. Their heads are in the middle. Of course, their head is the most vulnerable thing. So, but they're actually really good. Ball pythons are probably the most popular pet snake. This is an adult. This is as big as it gets. It doesn't cruise around. It's really tame. It's really good. There's the head just pops out. Hey, little guy. This guy's named Ivory, and it's absolutely a beautiful, beautiful snake. And again, these are the types of things that people come in and hold. When someone holds the first snake, I'm not going to give them a 20-foot snake or a snake that's going to be whatever.
Wait a minute, though. I'm going to fact check you on that, because I think I did hold Sunshine, God rest her soul, when she was here, and that was
about 10 foot. 10 foot. We actually, ironically enough, I did bring you another animal.
I'm so glad.
That is a little bit bigger than this little monkey here, but they're really absolutely gorgeous.
Okay.
And actually, I want to show you this one before I get to the snake I was just telling you about. This is actually Franklin.
Hello.
Franklin is an adorable leopard tortoise from South Africa. And Franklin is, believe it or not,
he's coming
over and saying, hi,
hello.
how are you? Franklin, believe it or not, is 12 years old.
Oh my
and he is going to live.
You look great for your age.
120 plus years. So
really?
He's just a little pup right now.
Oh
he's just about that age where he's starting to come into his own. And
he was the little guy making all that noise over there.
Franklin, I always say he's got probably the most personality out of any tortoise I've ever seen, because we just spoil these guys. You know what I mean? And my son oftentimes every day goes in and hand feeds Franklin. And it's so funny because Franklin will literally crawl right on his lap.
Oh my gosh.
wait for food. So
and he likes vegetables, you told me.
He loves vegetables. He eats all kinds of different veggies. And again, he's just a cool animal.
Awesome.
Again, kids come in, feed the tortoises.
Oh, I can see why.
Yeah, I mean, they're just, look at that little face right there.
Awesome.
That thing is the most gorgeous little dude.
That's a face that everyone can love.
Everyone should love this face for sure.
Cool.
And you held
I did Sunshine.
Sunshine. This happens. I'd like you to meet.
Oh, hi.
This is actually Sunrise.
Oh.
And you could.
Should I stand up?
Yep, stand up. Let's go ahead and.
Here we go.
Yep, right over your neck.
For those of you at home, don't try this at home without Brian.
So Sunrise is the exact same snake as Sunshine was, and of course,
my gosh.
we lost
Not as
Sunshine.
heavy, I don't.
Yep, we lost Sunshine a couple years ago. So this is her, the Sunrise, so to speak. We got her when she was about 2 weeks old, and she has the exact same personality as Sunshine. Super tame, unbelievably placid animal, and again, a great. Just ambassador to reptiles, and when kids come in and see how beautiful this snake is, and that's the thing. We have some animals. I have a lizard named Bella that literally comes to her name. Like I say, come here, Bella, and she'll run over, and all she wants to do is get petted. And so we have these animals that we want to break the stereotypes. And and Sunrise certainly.
You want
is
to give
one
me
of
a full hug, eh? Oh,
going for the jugular.
Okay, really close to me. Well, Brian, as we're getting ready to leave the show, where can folks find you? Is there a website, or just drive out to Utica?
TheReptarium.com. You can find out all kinds of information, or as you said, Google Brian Barczyk. I think if you just Google Brian B, you'll come up with me, and certainly find me. I daily vlog 822 days in a row on YouTube. Brian Barczyk.
You're all over YouTube.
So definitely not hard to find me, but certainly come pay us a visit.
Brian, thank you so much. I'm going to shake with this hand, and I'm going to tell our viewers here that our time has come to an end, but I hope that you have enjoyed our time at Celebrate Michigan. Check Brian out online, and check out the Reptarium there in Utica, Michigan. See you soon. I'm going to hang out with my friends here now.